Good morning, class 11. Now, today I need to come to you with the proximity because of certain language classes. Let me start with note making. Now, before I start, let me remind you whatever I am doing, this is all according to the latest syllabus overall. So now I will start with note making. Pay maximum attention to what I say. It is a very precise thing and a very different thing, a very new thing for you people which you haven't even heard of before. Might be possible that you might have heard of, but it is a very precision work. Number one, before I start with, it is just like a comprehension but not a comprehension at all. We will read through the passages. There are different paragraphs, might be 8 or 9 or 10 paragraphs, and if it is a 8 or 10 paragraph, so note making will be of at least 4. 5 you can make, 6 you can make, but minimum expectation is 4 points, 1 heading and 3-4 subheadings. So I start with what I'll do is that you must be having your language workbook. You will get a lot of note makings, you will practice in it. But today I have taken one sheet, and it is not necessary that the same thing has to be there. I am sending you along with, after I do the practical class with you, I am sending with this the passage, the extract completely, and the solved one according to whatever it is required, and along with my instructions. So let me start with. Read the following passage carefully. Archaeological evidence linking Gujarat, Dwarka, and Krishna was lacking. This prompted Dr. Rao to lead a marine archaeological expedition to the coastal region near modern Dwarka in search of submerged settlements that might correspond to Krishna's capital. The underwater expeditions, which won Rao the first World Ships Trust Award for individual achievement, were undertaken after extensive onshore excavations had yielded incontrovertible evidence of a protohistoric settlement of 1600 BC destroyed by the sea. Conducting 12 expeditions during 1983 to 1990, Rao identified 2 underwater settlements, one near the present-day Dwarka, that's in Gujarat, and the other in the nearby island of Bet Dwarka. In the book The Lost City of Dwarka, describing the discoveries, Rao suggested that Krishna occupied these places around 1500 BC. 1500 BC, if we say, that means roughly, that's a part of historical importance, so I am telling it like a history which makes it interesting too. 1500 and plus 200, that is lagbhag, you say approximately 3500 years ago, 2000 from here and 1500 BC from there. What Rao and his team discovered was a well-fortified township that extended more than half a mile from the shore. The sketch plan of Dwarka, prepared on the basis of structural remains exposed in the sea bed, suggests 6 different sectors of the town, all fortified and some interconnected. 2 major roads, each about 18 meters wide, connect a group of 3 buildings on the east. Each formed another designated enclosure in which 6 bastions were found in a line. The foundation of the boulders on which the city's walls were erected showed that the land had been reclaimed from the sea some 3,600 years back. The submerged township extended in the north up to Bet Dwarka, also known as Sankhodhara. Now, Bet Dwarka is no English name. Dwarka and Bet Dwarka. Bet is a localized language of the Gujarat over there. Said to have been the pleasure resort of Krishna and his consorts Satyabhama and Jambavati. The area is noted for its conch shell of good quality, which was in great demand as a non-corrosive substitute for metal. Non-corrosive substitute for metal. It extended up to Okhamudi in the south and the Pindara in the east, a pearl fishing village for more than 3000 years. Pindara is a holy place. Taraka is mentioned in the Mahabharata, where sage Dwarvasa had his hermitage. The general layout of the city of Dwarka described in ancient texts agrees with that of the submerged city and shows evidence of town planning. For example, land was reclaimed from the sea near the western shores of Saurashtra. A city was planned and built here. Dwarka was a planned city on the banks of the river Gomti. This beautiful city was also known as Dwaramati, Dwaramati and Kushasthali. It had well organized six sectors, residential and commercial zones, wide roads, plazas, palaces, and many public utilities. A hall called Sudharma Sabha was built to hold public meetings. The city also boasted of a good harbor. The Sabha Parva text of Mahabharata describes houses, but none had survived the sea. A few paved paths, drains, etc. were traced. Some houses of public buildings had pillared halls. An idea of the houses built of dressed and undressed stones in ancient Dwarka can be had from the structures laid bare in the Harappan town of Surkotka in Kutch, said Rao. Kushasthali is the name given to pre-Dwarka or Harappan settlement that had been abandoned and reoccupied and rebuilt during the Mahabharata period, said Rao, who identifies Bet Dwarka with Antardvipa of the epic. The word Dvipa, as used in the Mahabharata, often conveys the sense of any land between two rivers or two waters, although it is also used for a continent, said Rao. The Harappan seal inscriptions mention Hapta Dwappa, Saptadvipa, seven lands, and Bhadrama Dvipa, a seal found at Kalibanga meaning most auspicious land. Also, the fort wall and submerged walls in the sea confirm the appellation Varidurga, citadel in the water, given to Dwarka in the Mahabharata. Rao also finds confirmation of the reference to Dwarka as Nagara city in the epic. The high level of civilization is ancient Dwarka is born out of the engineering skill, advanced technology, and the high literacy of the people. It was an urban center with certain specialized industries such as boat building, shell working, pearl diving, and perhaps metalworking also, said Rao. The stone mold found in the intertidal zone compares favorably with the similar molds found in Lothal and other Indus towns, just as the tidal dock at Lothal, built in 2300 BC, is seen as the precursor of the port installation of Dwarka. Now, here the passage ends, but now starts the things what to be done. Only two things. It is of 8 marks completely, and 4 marks is of make notes on the passage in a suitable format, use recognizable abbreviations wherever necessary, give a suitable title, and then comes B part, write a summary of this passage based on your notes. Summary alone will be of 4 marks, and note making and abbreviation will be of 4 marks. We will be making notes, subtitle, title, and then subheadings, and then the your abbreviations. Abbreviations, when you make, you always have to be very careful. Never take any proper noun. Take the common nouns or the adjectives like commerce, commercial, subjugate, subjugated, like this. Make this. I will be sending it along with. Now, you can very well follow it up as it has been done with you. Read the extract, both sides, and then read the explanations and the answers done along with it. That was all for today. I am sending it. Thank you.